हेलो एवरीवन, कैसे हो जी सारे। आई एम विशाल गिरी। वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल। दिस video is for SSC 9th and 10th class students, where we will be discussing certain Java MCQs. So here we are having our first question. So guys, here we can see that value of n is 1000 and we are using a while loop. So in while loop, the test condition is n greater than 10. So here we can see that as value of n is 1000, so the condition is true. So the moment condition become true, we will enter this particular while loop. So guys, here we can see that in this particular question, they have asked how many times the loop is executes and what is the output. So in order to check whether how many times the loop is executing, what we will be doing is we will be taking a variable count and initialize that particular variable with value 0. So जितनी बार हम लोग अपने लूप के अंदर एंटर करेंगे उतनी बार हम अपने काउंट को इंक्रीज कर देंगे. So with this we will be calculating how many times our loop is executing. So guys, as we see that value of n is 1000 and we are having a test condition, and here we can see that 1000 greater than 10, the condition become true. The moment condition become true, we will enter the for loop. Sorry, we will enter the while loop. So here we can see the body of the loop is n equal to n divided by 10. So before making changes in this particular line, what we will be doing is we will increase the value of count by 1. So now count equal to 1. And as we know that value of n is 1000, 1000 divided by 10 will be 100. So now the recent value of n is 100. Again, we will be testing the while loop condition and we will see that how 100 is greater than 10. As 100 is greater than 10, the condition become true. And again, we will be entering this while loop. And as we enter the while loops, we will increase the count of by 1. So it will become 2. And again, we will be executing the statement present in the while loop. N equal to n by 100. The value of n is 100 by 10. It will become 10. So now the current value of n is 10. Again, we will be testing the condition of the particular while loop. And here we can see 10 greater than 10. Condition become false. The moment condition become false, you will come outside of the while loop and this particular statement will execute. So here we can see that they are asking to print the value of n. So the recent value of n is 10. And how many times the loop is executed? 2 times. So if we check the options available to us, loop is executed 2 times and output is 10. So the option is 3. Option 1 is wrong and option 2 is also wrong. Moving forward with the next question. So guys, here in this particular question, what I have tried to explain you people is about a program where we are having certain fill-ups and how to fill these particular fill-ups. So guys, here we can see that we are having a class with the name fruit juice and we are having certain variables. First one is product code. It is of type int. Second one is flavor. It is of type string. Third one is pack type. It is of type string. Fourth one is pack size. It is of type int. Fifth one is product price and it is also of type int. We are having certain methods. First one is fruit juice, which is a constructor. Second one is void input. Third one is void discount. Fourth one is void display. So guys, here we can see that we are trying to import a particular class in util package. So we are very well aware in order to input the values from the user, what in the util package, we do have a class with the name scanner. And before using that, what we have to do is we have to use import keyword. So the first fill-ups should be filled with import and import java.util.scanner to take the values from the user. And how we will get to know that is we are having this input method. So that is why we can predict, okay, then we have to input the value. So that is why we are using scanner class. And here we need to enter the class name. So guys, here we can see that class name is fruit juice. So the same way what they have provided in you the question, right? In the same way you have to write here also, making FS capital and JS capital. Moving forward, what we have done here is we have declared the variables. And here what we can see that we are initializing those particular variables, instance variables. So in order to initialize the instance variable, what we do is we used to create a constructor, and here we can see that they have asked us to create a constructor to initialize the integer data members to 0 and string data members to double quotes. So yes, with this we can come to the conclusion that they are asking us to create a constructor. So it is a constructor. Constructor has the same name as that of the class name. So fruit juice will come here, and it is a non-parameterized constructor. So moving forward with the next slide. So here we are having void input method available with us. So here we can say, right, that they have asked us to create a void input method. So to input and store the product code, flavor, pack type, pack size, and product price. So as we very well know that we have imported scanner class. So we will be writing scanner KB equal to new scanner. So what we have done is we have created an object KB of type scanner class. And we can see that this particular flux is empty and this we need to fill actually. So we have to predict, we have to first of all identify what is the data type of the variable product code. Here we can see the data type is int. So here we will write next int. KB dot next int. I should be capital. So this is a particular method present in our scanner class. So here we are done with this particular question. Moving with the next question. A dash is a set of objects that has common attributes and common behavior. So a collection of objects is a class. So we can directly mark this particular answer as class. Moving forward with this next question, the ASCII code of uppercase letters range from 97 to 122. So we have to tell whether it is true or false. So guys, for capital A, ASCII value is 65. For capital Z, ASCII value is 90. For small a, ASCII value is 97. And for small z, ASCII value is 122. But they are telling that for uppercase letter ranges from 97 to 122, which is wrong, guys, actually, because it is for small letters, not for uppercase letter. It is for lowercase letter 97 to 122. So the condition becomes this particular statement is false. Moving forward with this next question, predict the return data type of R and N from the snippet. So guys, here we are having a code snippet given below. The variable P is of type int, having a value 2. Variable M is of type float, having a value 3.4. And guys, here we can see that we are adding R equal to P plus M. P is of type int, M is of type float. So guys, int and float. So whichsoever is bigger, that will be, then that should be changed actually. So that will become the data type for variable R. So data type of R becomes float. And now comes this particular statement, N equal to. So guys, it is very easy. We can easily predict that we are having math.pow. For pow function, we are having return type as double. So any operation being performed on this double data value, then we can say that data type of variable N is also double. So we can write here the answer is for R, it is float, and for N, it is double. Moving forward with the next question, state whether the following statement are true or false. The precedence of operator in Java follows BODMAS. So guys, this particular statement is false. In Java, we do have certain operator precedence and associativity depending upon which we perform the operation, not on the basis of BODMAS. So this condition becomes false. Moving forward with this question number 7, here we can see the output of A++ will be 1. Initially, the value of A is -1, and if we apply A++, then this is a increment operator which will be increasing the value of A by 1. So after increasing the value of A by 1, it will become 0, but they are telling that it will be 1. So this condition is also false. Moving forward with the next question, here we can say that here in this particular state, we have to predict whether it is true or false. Question number 8, the relational operator always result in terms of true or false. What are relational operator? This is your relational operator. So we have to tell whether it results into true or false. So yes, it results into true. Moving forward with this question number 9, here we can see that value of m is 5. And here we are using a shorthand operator. So this shorthand operator, we can write it like this, and we are having value of m as 5. So 5 into 5 will become 25. And here they are telling then the value stored in m results in 55. So, but we are getting as value answer is 25. So this particular statement is false. Moving forward with this next question, question number 10, the statement a greater than b and a less than c. A greater than c uses a logical operator. So guys, here we can say that it is having a logical operator, logical and operator. So yes, this particular statement is true. Moving forward with this next question. In this also we have to state whether it is true or false. Question number 11. So guys, value of a is 27, value of b is 4, and we have to solve this particular expression. So 27 modulus 4. So modulus operator gives you the remainder 4 6 24, and we are getting remainder as 3. So they are telling that then c equal to a modulus b results in 3. Then yes, this particular statement is true, as we are also getting 3. In the precedence of logical operator, note is followed by and. So guys, if we go through the table present in the book for operator precedence, the note, logical note is at the top and logical and is at the bottom. So this particular statement is true. Here in this, we have to predict the output. So guys, this is a condition for ternary operator. This is how we write the ternary operator. So this is expression 1, expression 2, and expression 3. So first of all, we will be checking this expression 1, whether it is true or false. If expression 1 is true, then expression 2 will be executed. And if expression 1 is false, then expression 3 will be executed. So let us check the condition here. They have mentioned 3 less than 4. So this condition become true. As the condition become true, expression 2 will be evaluated. And what is the expression 2? 3 into 4. So 3 into 4 will be 12. So the output of this particular question is 12. Moving forward with this next question, question number 14. What will be the output of the following code? So guys, here we can see that value of k is 5 and value of j is 9. And we are given an expression k equal to, so guys, here we can see that it is a shorthand operator. So first, let us resolve this first. K equal to k plus, in the bracket we will write k plus plus minus plus plus j plus k. So guys, here we are having value of k as 5 plus k plus plus. K plus plus is a postfix increment operator. So first of all, we will be using the value as it is, and then we will be increasing the value by 1 as it is an increment operator. Then minus plus plus j. Plus plus j means it is a prefix increment operator. First of all, we will be increasing the value and then we will be using the value. Then value of k, the latest value of k is 6. Then we will be solving this particular expression. 5 minus 10 will be minus 5 plus 6. Minus 5 plus 6 will be 1, and k, value of k will become 6.